Hi, welcome to Road Bike Culture. I'm your host, Kevin Isley. Today we're going to talk about the Idaho stop. The state of California on February 17, 2017 tried to amend the California Traffic Law 21200 with what's known as AB 1103, or the Idaho Stop Law. This bill was defeated, and that's sad because this is one of those laws that makes a lot of sense. It's the direction that we should be heading in as a state and as a nation. But what is the Idaho Stop Law? Well, in 1982, the Idaho legislature put into place Assembly Bill 541. This allowed cyclists to treat stop signs as yield signs. So you would roll up. If there was no coming traffic, you could go through it without stopping, but you had to yield to oncoming traffic and give right of way to the person who had right of way. This makes a lot of sense. And the reason they wanted to put this bill forward was the magistrate in Idaho was getting upset that these technical tickets given to cyclists was clogging up the court dockets. And it worked. It really did work. And they didn't include stoplights in the original bill because their mindset was, if we take cyclists and give them a reason to travel on safer streets that have stop signs by not mandating that they stop at the stop signs, then they'll forego going on the major thoroughfares that have stop lights. So this was never put into the original bill. But in 2006, they amended the bill to include that stoplights would be considered stop signs, meaning a cyclist would have to come to a stop, make sure there was no oncoming traffic and there was nobody to yield the right of way to. Then they could go. And I think the reason they did this in 2006 was it's a boom in cycling. There's a lot of cyclists, and a lot of cyclists were on the major thoroughfares treating stoplights as yield signs, and that was never the intent. So they reworded it, and this was successful. And they've done study after study in Idaho and Colorado and Paris where these things are legal as well, and there is zero uptick in bike-related injuries or fatalities. In fact, it's gone down measurably. This law works and it's proven. But why did California forego it? We're a progressive state. It really irritates me. A lot of the pushback from the American Automobile Association and a lot of lobbyists is that there should be one set of traffic laws for everybody. But cyclists, bicycles are not cars, and we're not pedestrians. We are something different. Pedestrians have different laws than cars. Cyclists should have different laws than pedestrians and cars because we're different. Because the law states that cyclists must follow the same rules of the road as a vehicle, even though we are completely different. Our mode of acceleration is different. The wear and tear of our body from stopping at stop signs is different. It's bad for our knees to stop at every stop sign, dismount, load back up, get going, put that initial pressure on your knees. It's not safe. So cyclists don't stop. It's a stupid law, and we just go through stop signs when it does not make sense. And I don't mean go through them like blasting through stop signs. Most cyclists I know, you see them slow down, look, and then just go. And then a motorist inevitably honks. Now they're angry. If there was a law that stated this is what a cyclist is meant to do and this is what a car is meant to do, this will lower hostility because cars don't want us stopping and following the exact law that they have to follow because it will congest the streets. It will slow them down as every cyclist stops at a stop sign, then goes to a complete start and then pulls off to the right. It's gonna slow them down. They don't understand this. And I'm a motorist. I have 2 cars in San Francisco. I drive the majority of the time. I am a recreational cyclist. And there are few things that spark as much anger as a motorist watching a cyclist blow through a stop sign. But that's not the Idaho stop. The Idaho stop is to treat it as a yield sign. And the law in California for a yield sign is as a driver pulls up to a yield sign, he or she will yield right of way to oncoming traffic. That is what this bill would do for cyclists. You still have to slow down, look at your environment, and then make a determination that there is no oncoming traffic to yield to, and then continue on your way without stopping. And if you're at a stoplight, you stop. How many times have you been at a stoplight waiting to make a left-hand turn and there's no car behind you? Therefore, your turn never gets made because there's no car to trip the signal, because they are not designed for bikes. And this is why bikes need to have different laws, because the laws are all pertaining to cars. They are not pertaining to bikes right now, so it sets us up at a disadvantage. And that disadvantage is becoming more and more hostile towards cyclists and more dangerous on the road. 700 people died last year on bicycles in this country. And it's because of these archaic laws, and this will get people out of their cars and onto a bike. It will give them more of a reason to ride bikes, and this will affect climate change. This will affect congestion. This will affect parking. This will affect pollution. So having stop signs be stop signs for cyclists is detrimental to the movement of cycling. Everybody out there who is watching this video and is a cyclist should be pushing forward an agenda in their political area to get this to be the national law across the land. This is going to be safer for all of us. When a motorist says, I can't respect a bicycle rider because they don't follow the rules of the road, they don't stop at stop signs, how many motorists don't stop at stop signs? Stop signs are the most violated law in this country. Cyclists need to be held responsible when they blow through a stop sign, when they blow through a stoplight, because that is dangerous to pedestrians, it's dangerous to themselves, and it's dangerous to motorists. But the reason people are blowing through stop signs is because we're not gonna stop at a stop sign when it makes no sense. When you are in a residential area and every single block has a stop sign and you're the only one going on the road, but there's that one cop sitting there knowing that all these cyclists make this journey through here and they're not gonna stop at the stop sign even though there's no cars, they know they're gonna be able to make their quota and feed the revenue of that city. And this happens all the time in Marin. Well, I think that just about covers it. The Idaho stop and a slight rant from me. If you like this episode, give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button. And remember, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. And until the next time, I hope to see you out there on the road.